Okay. Hi, Kieran. Okay. So I was just telling the rest of your friends here that the oral exam component has been changed. So the new syllabus, the exam format is that in the past, I think 10 marks is for reading aloud. So you're given a passage to read, and then you're supposed to read aloud, and then you'll be marked on like things like articulation, volume, pace, rhythm, right? But it has since been removed. So what is going to be tested for your oral exam is that you have two parts. Okay, each part is actually 15 marks. Okay, maybe I'll just show you the the syllabus document. I think it's easier. Hold on, yeah, my screen share is loading. Yeah, okay, it should be up. Okay, so as you can see, right, for your oral exam, there are two parts. Okay, the plan response, basically you're given a stimulus, and the stimulus is in the form of a video clip. Okay, so based on the video clip, there will be an accompanying prompt, meaning during the preparation time, you actually have 10 minutes preparation time. The video usually lasts about 1 minute, okay, or less than 1 minute. So after watching the video, there will be a question, okay, an accompanying prompt that comes with it. So based on the prompt, you are to plan a response. That's why it's called a plan response component. Okay, so when you plan a response, you do have 10 minutes. So I do think that you have sufficient time to do that. So a lot of times I think the easier part to score will be the plan response portion because you have time to think through and plan your response. Okay. And then of course, Sherman is here. Hold on. Okay. So we were just talking about how oral exam has changed. I think the rest of them have heard me say it a few times. Okay. There are two parts, right? So a lot of times I think plan response is the component that you should be scoring better because you have enough time to plan, right? And we will be highlighting on the format to use. Basically, is the PEAL format, which I think a lot of you are familiar with it because you don't just use it for English, you probably use it for like other subjects as well, like humanity subject, or even literature. Yeah. So another component is actually spoken interaction, which is also 15 marks, as you can see from the screen. Okay, now the spoken interaction part, I would think is a bit more difficult because you really have to think on the spot. You don't really have time to plan. Yeah. But one thing that might help is that usually for the spoken interaction section, the topic that's going to be discussed is usually related to the video. I mean, it has to be related to the video. So what you can do during the 10 minutes preparation time is that maybe you just want to generate ideas on the spot. Like what are the possible topics that might come out from the video clip itself? Okay, so if you can think of possibilities of topics, then maybe it might help you in a way. So when the examiner asks you a question, it will not come off as a surprise. So you kind of expect it. Okay, so that's oral communication for you. And let's just have a look at the description. Okay, I think it's below. Hold on. Listening, oral. Okay, this is oral. Okay, so approximate duration for your oral communication is basically 10 minutes preparation time, right? And a lot of times I think students are just, especially if your register number is at the back, then you realize that you'll be sitting in the school hall for very long. Yeah. Of course, if you're the first few to go, I think you don't have to stay for so long, right? But generally the entire duration is basically just 20 minutes, 10 minutes preparation time. Then the examiners will also allocate 10 minutes for you to have the conversation with them. Okay. Ideally, you should be talking the entire 10 minutes. Okay, it shouldn't be too short in terms of the conversation, right? You should be engaged in the discussion based on the topic that's related to the video clip. Okay, you will not be asked. So if you look at spoken interaction part 2, you will not be asked any questions about what people say in the video clip. So don't have to worry about that. You will not be asked literally. So literal questions will not be asked. They will not be asking you, what do you see in the video? Okay, it will definitely be a prompt because at Sec 4 level, I think they expect you to be a bit more critical in terms of your thinking. So it will not be like primary school oral whereby what do you see in the picture or what do you see in the diagram or whichever. Okay. Then in terms of plan response, you are supposed to plan and deliver a response of up to 2 minutes. You know, basically you are assessed on your ability to present your ideas because you would have brainstormed the ideas already beforehand during the preparation time. So you are test basically on your ability to express your ideas, your opinions fluently, and also to effectively engage the listener. Okay, so I just want to spend a bit of time to highlight this because you need to be very aware that the oral has since been changed. You are in Sec 2 now, right? So maybe some of your school teachers might have told you, okay, but if not, I think it's a good time to at least know what you're tested on. You're no longer tested on reading aloud because I think they see no meaning in that. By Sec 4, you should be able to read properly. Okay, so they don't see a meaning to the reading aloud section anymore. So it's been removed. Okay. Yeah, basically that's that. This one. Okay. Now maybe just want to share some experience on my end. Actually, I went to Anderson Secondary before to be an examiner 3 years ago, an oral examiner. So what happened was that back then the syllabus has not changed. So basically students are reading aloud the first portion. So they were reading the same passage over and over again. And to be fair, actually it can get a little bit boring, okay, as an examiner, because I had to examine 25 students and they're all reading the same passage. Okay, then in terms of the conversation that we had, right? A lot of times they were just saying similar things because the topic is the same, right? How different can it be? So I was basically listening to 25 responses talking about the same thing. So how do you actually differentiate yourself from the rest or the other candidates? Is that try to share your personal experience because that is something really personal, something that is unique to you. So it will really interest your examiner. Okay, I think the key thing is to engage your examiner and get them to pay attention to you. So it's always good to share some interesting personal experience or give some examples to basically spark the conversation. Yes, Dojin. Yeah, I like your expression there. Okay, so that's a cheeky one. Yeah, but try to not being cheeky with your examiner, but you can always have a light-hearted conversation. It doesn't have to be too formal. Okay, but then again, of course, you have to watch your language as well. Don't be too informal that you use a lot of like colloquial language, then it's inappropriate. Yeah, but otherwise just take it as like you're just having a conversation with an adult, basically. And the examiners, there will be two. There will be two examiners from different schools. Okay, definitely not teachers from your school. So that's the reality of it. Okay, so today's focus is really to. Oh, okay. Oh, I thought it was an accident. Is it, Sojin? I thought you really meant you wanted to be cheeky with the examiner. Okay. So today's focus is basically how do you actually craft out your responses? Because you're supposed to, the part one is plan response, right? So you're supposed to structure your responses. And it will be useful and helpful also if, let's say, you have like a structure in mind, like a format to follow. So we usually follow Peel. Okay. But I just want to highlight okay, I'm just going to move on to the next page. Now, for oral exams, Peel format is slightly different. Okay, I know it's always about point, elaboration, explain, link. Okay, I just want to add on two more E's, right? Point, elaboration, explain, yes, but you might want to, like I was just sharing with you, it's really boring if everybody were to say the same thing. I mean, similar things over and over again. So what really, puts your examiner up is that you're able to share some personal experience and examples. Okay, so I just want to highlight that these are two more E's that we've added to the Peel. When you explain, try to explain with some experience. Okay, try to relate to some of your experiences. Try to give some examples. Okay, and then link back. Okay, later on we'll see some examples on how to actually do it. Yeah. Is it explain and elaborate the same thing? Okay, yeah, good question, Kiet Ming. Actually, I wanted to explain that as well. Now, in terms of elaboration, let's say if the question is, do you think family is important? yes, my point is that yes, family is important because they have, how do we elaboration means is adding on to the point. So maybe when I elaborate on my point, I'll say that because they give us strong mental support, they lead us to the right path and all. Okay, so those are elaboration because you just add on to your point. Yeah, like topic sentences. Okay, then in terms of explanation, it's where all the details come in. Like for example, you said that I said that it gives us strong mental support. So how do I explain strong mental support with spending time with family? So I can say that, when we spend time with family, we feel less stress. Okay, we are less likely to be depressed and all. So that comes the explanation part. So elaboration is actually not the same as explanation. Elaboration is just adding on to your point, like topic sentences. But when it comes to explanation, you really need to explain. Like why? Why do you say that it reduces depression? Okay, why do you say that, spending time with family will lead you to the right path? Then you can explain. Okay, so in terms of explanation, then you can talk about like your experience, right? Maybe you can say, there was once I flunked my English exam, and my parents, although they were disappointed, but they encouraged me to, to work harder and score better the next time, something like that. Okay, so your personal experience will help in terms of explanation as well. Okay, then after that, of course, linking back would just be like, therefore, right, family helps build a strong foundation in, in how we actually develop into an adult, for example. Okay, so that's the linking part. Are we clear with this? The pure format for oral. Okay, the only difference is that there are 2 more E's now. So I really encourage you to put examples, more examples, and also more experiences as well. Okay, yeah. Okay, now we're gonna move on to the next one. Why use peel? Okay, why use peel? Like I said, you don't want to be confused. You don't want to be like in a to have like a incoherent thought or response. So it helps you to organize basically. So you know that, okay, if I follow this structure, I'm going to state my point first as I speak, right? So it becomes very organized. And actually, it's not just helping you to organize your thoughts. It helps the examiner to understand your thought as well, because you don't want to be all over the place. Okay. And next one, I think it might also help in terms of overcoming the fear. Some people, they are just afraid to speak up, they're not very vocal. So I think it's useful to have a structure to help you and maybe feel a bit more confident, because you know that you have something to talk about. Like, I do have my content, so I shouldn't be so afraid to speak. Okay, as long as I follow the format, I'll be fine. Yeah. Okay, so that's what the peel format helps. So basically, the point is just the answer you want to put across. Okay, it's your answer to the examiner's question. That's all. Right? Then in terms of elaboration, like I say, you might just want to give details. Okay, use some of your observation skills to elaborate on your points. Okay, so that's just additional points to basically develop on your point. And your point is basically your answer. Is family important? Yes, it is important to me. So it's just to add on to your point. Yeah, that's elaboration. Now, in terms of examples and experience to explain the 3 E's, right? Like I said, you can explain in terms of examples and experience. So you can give examples to compare and contrast. Maybe when I explain the point on family, maybe you want to say that, I actually have a friend who is from a single parent home. You can even talk about this. You can use other examples to compare with what your point is. So you said that family is important. So maybe you can say that I have a friend who's from a single parent family, and I've observed that, he had a few behavioral issues, probably stemming from his family background. So therefore, so that's comparing and contrasting. Okay. Then of course, cause and effect. You said that mental support, right? Family gives you mental support. So how do you give cause and effect examples? You can say that, if let's say we do not spend enough time with our family, right? We